Listening passage from August 2012. The following passage is from a chapter entitled Legendary He Was by Richard G. Weingart, published in Circles in the Sky in 2009. In this excerpt, Weingart discusses the invention of the Ferris Wheel for the 1893 World's Fair called the World's Columbian Exposition, in honor of the 400th anniversary of Columbus' arrival in the New World. When Chicago was selected over New York City and St. Louis as the location for America's World's Fair in 1893, the Columbian Exposition, Chicagoans vowed to make it the most astonishing and successful international event ever. So boastful were local supporters that this would be accomplished. New York reporters began calling Chicago the Windy City, a nickname that remains today. It has nothing to do with the winds howling off Lake Michigan. In the end, the Chicago Exposition did overshadow all previous World's Fairs, even the dazzling 1889 French affair in Paris, which produced the Eiffel Tower, the new symbol of that city. The Columbian Exposition's giant passenger wheel, Chicago's answer to the Eiffel Tower and the star of its show, was the brainchild of one of the most mysterious and fascinating characters in American history, George Washington Gale Ferris Jr., a dashing young civil engineer based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tall, slim, dark, and movie star handsome, Ferris commanded attention wherever he went, even before he became an international figure. 2 years before the fair's opening, the organizers of the Columbian Exposition openly expressed concern that no great engineering marvel was in the works for their rapidly approaching event. Yes, they were pleased with the pretentious edifices the country's architects were designing, but were highly disappointed that American engineers hadn't come up with anything novel to equal Ferris's Eiffel Tower. After all, the exposed metal frame structure of the 1889 International Exhibition held in Paris represented a daring structural engineering triumph in a class by itself. Indeed, the Chicago Exposition Committee was not interested in mere bigness or tallness. They had already turned down 2 major tower proposals, even one by Alexander Gustav Eiffel himself, to build a structure substantially taller than Paris's 984-foot tower. To the committee, a tower would not fit the bill, even if it would end up setting the record as the tallest structure in the world. It would still be an embellished copy of what the Europeans had already done. Only a true engineering breakthrough that represented America's can-do spirit and its emergence as a world-class nation with vision would be acceptable. America's pride was at stake. Was there no American engineer capable of coming up with something sensational? In due course, Ferris settled on the invention he would present. At an engineering society dinner meeting at a Chicago Chop House restaurant, he sketched out his plan for his colleagues. He would design and build an enormous revolving steel tension wheel, a magical device resembling a giant bicycle wheel. It would carry people to breathtaking heights and yet be absolutely safe, even in hurricane-level winds. It would be the greatest wheel ever built, perhaps even the 8th wonder of the world. With this design, Ferris pushed the envelope on how high moving structures could be built. His steel wheel, which actually consisted of 2 separate, identical wheel elements connected by a network of struts and connected by a network of struts and angles, had an outside diameter of 250 feet and was more than 20 stories tall. The entire apparatus was raised 15 feet above the ground and was supported on top of two 140-foot tall steel towers. These were connected by a 45-foot long axle, the largest single piece of forged steel in the world at the time. 36 railroad-sized passenger cars or cabins with plush, crushed velvet interiors were hung between the two wheel elements. Each car held 60 people. Fully loaded, the 1,200-ton Ferris Wheel, which was powered by a 1,000 horsepower reversible engine, could handle more than 2,000 people at once. Every passenger would receive a 2-revolution, 20-minute ride for 50 cents. Ferris had many advantages as a result of his having been a successful consulting engineer in Pittsburgh for so long. He had connections with most major manufacturers, fabricators, and suppliers of steel products in the country. He had also a highly respected reputation in the industry. He knew the ins and outs of America's rapidly emerging steel business and got projects built on time and within budget. Plus, he knew whom to go to and how to raise money, and whom to bring on board as investors and officers in the two companies he specifically formed to build and operate the wheel. Over the years, the influence of Ferris's engineering and entertainment marvel on the world has been exemplified by the countless number of Ferris wheels and other moving entertainment devices replicated around the globe. No fair or carnival seems complete without a moving passenger wheel, and many theme parks have them as their main attractions or anchors. Excerpted from Circles in the Sky, 2009, ASCE Press. This marks the end of your listening passage.